welcome to the Unleashed and Unstoppable show. My name is Dean Martin, and today I've got an amazing guest all the way from Canada, right?
You got it.
Exciting. His name is Reuben, the man of all the coaches, which is exciting to hear. And he's got some amazing content to share with us today, which I'm super excited to learn about for one, but also to hear his experience, his skills, and all his knowledge that he's going to share with us. So I'm going to start with you, man. Tell us a little bit about your backstory. Tell me about you and what got you to this point right here.
Yeah, totally. So I'll give a bit of the backstory, some of the main rocks in my life. So grew up in actually a super small town. Okay, we lived out in the country in the middle of nowhere. There's like 300 people in our little village. And I always had this feeling of I wanted to do something more. I wanted to do something bigger. I didn't know what it was. And I actually was often told as a child, like, oh, just be like faithful with the small things, like just be great, like really like just love the things that you have. You're blessed. You shouldn't go after big things. And I was always like, but I really feel like I should go after big things. And two kind of pivotal moments in my teen years is the one instance was one of my, I was in a small class because we're in a small town. So only like 20 people in my class. And one of my friends, he had an accident and he died. It was one of those moments where it's just like, boom, like life is short. Like I got to be doing more to my life. It was a really big moment for me. I won't go much into detail. The second moment was when I was in a car with a friend and he was driving and he fell asleep. And we went into the other lane. We hit a semi head on. And both of us escaped without major injuries at all. And it was just another moment, like when I was riding in that ambulance to the hospital, I was just like life's fragile. It's short. I got to do something with it. So that kind of, it was always going along inside of me. It's just like something, I need to do something. Now I was caught in like the 9 to 5, like working construction, framing, like I was doing all like the labor kind of work. And here's the thing, my wife got me into entrepreneurship. And so she was posting on Instagram. She's a health coach. She's really great at what she does. Like she's amazing. And she was making more money than me posting on Instagram. And at that time, I was like so anti-social media. It wasn't even funny. I was like the so close-minded kind of person, small town person. And so I was like, she's making more money posting on Instagram. I don't have Instagram. Like, this is not cool. And so I was like, I'm going to try this entrepreneurship thing. So I tried 4 different businesses. So I tried to start my own bricklaying company. We made some money. I made like $10K. But then it kind of fizzled out because that was my only job that I had. And so then I tried like affiliate marketing, network marketing. I tried a bunch of different things that didn't work out. But eventually I've always liked fitness, and my wife was doing health coaching really successfully. And I was like, maybe I could do like fitness coaching. I've been into it. I was a big sports guy, like graduated like athlete of the year and everything. So I was like, great, I'm going to try this out. So we started working on it, and it was a struggle bus to start, real struggle. We hired a bunch of different business coaches. Some of them were okay, some of them were not so okay. But eventually we got to that infamous 6 figures as an online fitness coach. And like, I thought like that would solve all my problems in life. And by the way, it didn't. It just solved a little bit of the financial ones a little bit. But basically, so we kept on growing that business. But eventually, we had a lot of people asking us, like, how did you do it? How did you go from like working your job to working for yourself and building an online coaching business? So we started to mentor some people. Long story short is we've now helped over 400 entrepreneurs move their businesses online. We do it full time. We're working with 50 some people right now. And that's what we do. We help people move their coaching businesses and go crazy online.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. I love this because I am from the health and fitness background as well. So I love hearing stories that involve the fitness industry because it's massive challenges involved in it, right? So what are the major challenges that you have seen yourself that you've struggled with going from construction? Because I've got a construction background when I was younger as well. Driving machines and operating diggers and things, moving into the fitness industry. But what were the things coming from a normal 9 to 5 construction sort of job to moving online and creating your own business? What were the major struggles you had to face?
There was a couple major struggles. So I'm going to start with the stuff that people don't like to talk about often, which is the mindset work. So coming into the online space, I had a ton of baggage in my mindset. I had bad money mindset issues. I had a belief that I was going to fail at everything that I did in life. And I really wasn't that confident that I could do it. So there was a lot of this mindset stuff holding me back. So now that was my mindset. Now pair it with a lot of business coaches saying that it's super easy and that there's this magic pill that's going to build you this incredible online business. So here's me, all this mindset baggage, and all these business coaches saying, easy, you buy this program, you make $100K per year. Great. So I kept on buying in, but it wasn't working for me. Now, to be completely fair, it wasn't always necessarily their strategies. Some of their strategies to this day I don't like, I don't approve of. But I think they would have worked for me better, even though I don't like them, if my mindset would have been at a better place. So, I mean, I've had to do a lot of things to grow my mindset. I've read a lot of books, listened to a lot of podcasts, had mindset mentors, therapists. But really, it comes down to being the person first. We talk about this, like, you need to be the attractive character in your business. You need to be the example. And so the biggest thing for me was learning to find that self-validation and my true worth and building that confidence so that I could actually sell with confidence, because that was one of my biggest issues is I couldn't sell because I wasn't truly sold on what or who I was. So doing a lot of that work is, I think, what actually finally catapulted me, and having enough pain of just like, this hasn't worked for a long time. So I could go and keep going, but that's the thing that I had to go in on the beginning.
Oh, it's huge, right? Mindset's massive. And like, we deal with the majority of mindset with our business. We like to help people master their inner game, which is your beliefs, your states, your habits, your self-talk, everything that goes on inside your head to be able to improve your outer game. It's huge, because at the end of the day, you can't have a strong outer game if your inner game's not strong. Right?
Exactly.
It's massive. So cool. Now that you've got your business set up, let's talk about the exciting stuff. If someone's done all that, they've got their mindset right, and they've got a business set up, where can they go next? Because I know a lot of coaches out there are just flogging and pushing paid marketing. Let's just throw some money at Facebook ads. It's easy. It's easy, right? Let's do some Facebook ads and you'll be a millionaire, right? But what if someone's just starting a business and they've got no extra capital or money there to throw into ads? What's your advice?
Yeah, no, 100%. So, I mean, a lot of people know me as kind of like the organic marketing ninja. And now I'm going to say something to preface this. I do believe people should start with organic marketing, but I'm going to preface this because there's a lot of business coaches that kind of screw with people's minds, saying that this is the one way or this is the one way. And I don't want to be another one saying, don't do other ways. Organic marketing is the best. I'll share with you why I think it is a really good option to start. But what I'm gonna share with you guys here today works no matter what type of marketing you do, because it's based off of business principles that every successful company runs on. And that's what I think is most important, is for people to understand actually the backbone of it all, so that no matter if you do paid traffic, organic marketing, billboards at the side of the road, direct mail, email marketing, whatever it is, it's going to work for you. Okay. So I think organic marketing is the best to start, because when people are starting a business, you want to have your profitability percentage be the highest it can be. And so at the beginning, most people don't have a lot of cash, but they do have time. So at the beginning, I would say rather spend time on organic social media. So actually going and growing your social, interacting with potential clients. And I can go through all those steps on this podcast, but doing that, because at the beginning, you go and do that. You can build a business that gets to 10K months, 20K months. Like, we have some clients that have gone upwards and made 100K per month off of organic social media, and they didn't spend $1 on ads. And so, yeah, there was some time of theirs, there was some energy. Now that they got this cash, great, we can learn and we can adapt with paid ads at that point. So we usually like that progress. No, I will never say that paid ads don't work or that they're bad. I just think that if you can make this money for free, quote unquote, it's obviously time spent, so it's not completely free. I think it's a better thing for new entrepreneurs.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, I believe organic is a massive part of any business, because at the end of the day, if you're not utilizing your time and putting your time into it, then like, you're not really going to reap the massive benefits at the end. You're sort of someone that just sits back and allows the machines to do the work. Awesome. So talk to me a little bit more about organic marketing. How can these guys apply? What are the sort of the best strategies that are working at the moment?
Yeah. I'm going to give you the exact system. So, and this goes back to business principles. So what I'm going to share with you right now works well with organic marketing, and it works well with everything else. So we got a couple different stages of if you want to take someone. I was actually just talking to a guy yesterday, and he's like, this person went from not knowing about me to buying into my program, paying me $1,500 in 2 days. That's crazy. And he's one of the kind of the coaches we're working with. And I said, okay, map out the exact flow. How did they go from not knowing about you to paying you $1,500? Map it out for me. And I'm going to do the same thing with you guys here today. So basically, the first stage to any business is you need to learn how to turn people who don't know about you. So they're not even in your audience. So we call them traffic. It's out there somewhere, traffic. They need to become a part of your audience. They need to get to know you. Okay, so we talk about this as building a targeted audience. It's the first stage in any funnel. Okay, a funnel is not just click funnels or paid traffic. It's any funnel that you push people in on the front and clients come out the bottom. Any funnel. So the first stage is build a targeted audience. Now the key word in there is targeted. Because if you grow a crappy audience, paid traffic can have quality people come in, it can have bad people come in. Same thing with organic. You need to make sure you're finding your targeted audience. So if you're working with busy dads, are you working with working moms? Are you working with entrepreneurs? Are you working with teens? Whoever you're working with, who's your target market? You need to have it doesn't necessarily have to be fast, but you need to have a steady growth of that every single week. So is your audience growing with those people every single week? If it is, great. If it's not, your business is going to dry up at some point because it's a traffic source. So that's the first step. Grow your audience with targeted people every single day. There's so many simple tactics to doing it. I'm going to list a couple just here just because I want to. So, on Instagram, there's hashtags, there's collaborations. There's, basically you can go and find your ideal clients, like, comment, follow. A lot of them will follow you back. Like very simple strategies on Facebook. You can go to Facebook groups, you can go to business pages. Where are they hanging out, interact with their stuff? The most simplistic things in the world. Now people are like, oh, that's not going to build your real business. Well, we built a business that does $1 million or more per year off of that simple strategy. Simple works a lot better than complex. So anyways, it works. So that's the first step. You need to build a targeted audience. Now, the second step is basically, here's your thought process. Most people think that selling is just on the phone when you're selling a program. You need to sell people on every stage of the journey, the client journey, we call it. So the first sale is them following you back. Now, one of the key things to do this is make sure your profile is optimized on social media. Is it a good-looking profile? Is it clearly saying who you work with and how you help them? Once you make sure it's optimized, people will follow you much more often if that's the case. So anyways, I'm going to stop on that end point because we have a couple points to go. So that's the first sale. They've committed to following you. That's a very small step. People take small steps with you before they take big steps. The second step is what I call lead generation, because they're not a lead yet. They're an audience member, and they're maybe slowly warming up. Now, I believe in value-based lead generation, which is basically give so much free value, and whether it's like a value video, a workshop, a challenge, a PDF, in your free content, that you're getting your audience to raise their hand saying, hey, I would like that. And whoever raises their hand, your free content should be directed to your specific ideal client, so that if they're not your ideal client, they're not going to raise their hand. Okay? And so when they raise their hand, that's their second step they're taking with you. They said yes to following you. They're now saying yes to some free value. At this point, this is what we call a qualified lead, QL. Qualified lead, this is where you want to have a deep conversation with them. This is where you can be in the messenger, going back and forth, asking about their goals, asking about their struggles. This is where you really get to know them. Sometimes you can go from this to a sales call. Sometimes you want to provide a little bit more in-depth personal value for them. Sometimes I'll shoot a quick 2-minute video with my whiteboard behind me, and I'll be like, hey, this is where you're at right now. These are the things you want to be working on. Just basically giving and loving and caring for them more than anyone else on social media is. At this stage, these like when I offer calls to these people, they're like, oh yeah, no, I did want to chat with you actually. Let's get on a call, because they're so warmed up. Most business coaches will say, as soon as people like your content, try to book a sales call with them. And it's kind of like trying to go from not dating to getting married. It's too fast. They're not warmed up yet. You might get the 1 out of 200 or maybe 2 out of 200. But if you do it this way, equality, the ratios are better. So anyways, that's an organic funnel right there where at the top, we funnel people in. The people that engage with our free content, or they say they want it, become a lead. We have a conversation with them where they're a very hot lead, and then we offer a call. It's a simple strategy. And here's the last thing I'll say, and we can dive into this more, is if you track your numbers in every stage, build a target audience, generating leads, nurturing, offering a call, you tally those up every single day, every single week, you'll start to see exactly how many you need to hit to get clients every single week. It's a consistent system at that point. And when it's systematized, then you can obviously hand it off. Other people can do some of the work for you, and you can start to scale it.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a numbers game at the end of the day. It's business is a numbers game. And I love the fact that, because we do it a fair bit as well, is know your target market. Because at the end of the day, if you're looking from a business point of view, looking for someone that's after weight loss and you're there marketing about muscle gains and bodybuilding and things, it's completely different, right? You're not going to hit your target market or the people that you want to speak to. And there's I only got this a couple of days ago, all about the haters, right?
Yeah.
All about the haters. You're going to get hate no matter what you market at the end of the day. And I've always said, if you don't have someone that you're not upsetting or getting a hater of some sort, then you're not loud enough.
Oh, 100%. No, I mean, basically when you're, and here's the thing, like you're trying to serve so many people and you're trying to grow yourself so much. I mean, that's what the journey of entrepreneurship really is. It's a growth journey for yourself and for who you're serving. And whenever you try to outgrow who you are, you're leaving certain people at a certain stage and they want you back. They don't want you to grow further, right? So it's too bad that it does happen, but it's a true sign that you're outgrowing who you used to be, which is actually a good thing.
Most definitely. Like, you're always looking for that next challenge or the next learning to be able to grow that next level, right? To be better tomorrow than who you were today. Yeah. So awesome. So if someone was, all right, they've got their target market, they've got their lead generation stuff, like let's just say let's ask this question. How do they build the audience as such? Like, where are they putting it? Is it a group? Is it a Facebook page? Is it like, if they're confused, they've never done it before, what are some quick and easy things that they can start to get some clarity around those sort of things?
Yeah, totally. That's a good question. So it goes back to the principles of, it doesn't matter necessarily where you're building an audience. It just matters that you're building a targeted audience. And so I'll say it this way, like we have some clients who we try to get people to focus on one platform at a time. One platform until they get to about 6 figures, then usually we maybe tack on a second one. But basically, you want to think at the beginning, like, number one, where do you like to post the most? Which platform do you enjoy the most? And then number two, is your ideal client on that platform? And most of the time they are, because Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn are basically big enough that most people will find ideal clients on there somewhere. So what you do is you really focus on one platform. And now you want to come up with a couple of things, obviously optimizing your channel, obviously creating content that's really good. And I will say this, content creation used to be a bigger client generator than it is now, because the algorithms keep on getting cut. I mean, they always do. It's how the game works. Content acquiring clients is going down a little bit organically, just straight up. It is. And so you have to understand that you should still be producing content, but it's actually more of an authority and positioning tool necessarily than a client generator. So be publishing content. Now, basically, when we're thinking about growing an audience, there's technically 19 different, we call them traction channels, of how you can grow your audience, okay? So I'll give a couple examples. I mean, the one that I talked about already is just manually growing your social media yourself. The second thing is partnering up with other people and actually that are in your niche that would have the same audience that you want and collaborating. The third thing is, podcast is a great platform. There's PR, there's all these different layers of how you can get traffic or building an audience. My number one advice in this is just to pick two. Pick two on the front end that you're going to do very well and that you will see consistent results from. For instance, my business right now, we've had these 4 traction channels for the last year, and we've been doing really well. We just tacked on 2 more that we're adding in, and we're slowly we've actually, in the last 2 weeks, we've doubled our traffic flow. And we didn't need to before because we were kind of maxed out. We needed to open up fulfillment. Now we had more fulfillment, so we added stuff in. So business is always a game of understanding, okay, where are my systems at? Can I handle more clients? If I can, increase either the numbers that I'm doing in my current traction channels or add new ones in. And again, I'm saying it, I'm really explaining it this way because this works for any business. And it actually works for, if you're doing paid marketing right now and you need to add more traction channel in, maybe add a podcast or maybe add organic underneath it. Add something to it if you want to do more, or just spend more money on it if it's doing well for you. So always understand that it's the principles that matter. I'm hoping this is making sense.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I got a couple of groups. Obviously, one for my fitness stuff, everyday health and fitness, and one for Alpha Omega, our Unleash and Unstoppable group, where we pump a lot of free stuff, and we believe to give a lot of value in there because at the end of the day, we want to solve problems. Right. And it all starts with those small steps to, start knocking down some of those problems too. So if someone's they've got their platform, they've got their, say, group or whatever, what are some ways that some simple ways without going too far into it, obviously, or don't want to take away from programs or anything, but what are some ways that possibly, they can get people in there consistently, and what are they doing inside these groups or their audiences?
Okay, great question. So number one, we'll talk about traction, getting people into it. Number two, we can talk about what do we need people to see in the group. So again, this is all going to come down to tracking stuff. Because here's the thing, a lot of people, I could give you a simple tip of saying, hey, look at who liked your content in the last 30 days. Reach out to them and say, hey, I see you've been enjoying my content. We got some more free stuff in this Facebook group. Would you like to join it? Great. If they're an ideal client and they think it's valuable, they'll join it. So that's a tactic. However, what's more important than the tactic is consistency of implementing the tactic. Because a lot of people will do that every now and then. They'll get a couple people in here, a couple people in there. They'll run a challenge, get a bunch of people in. But they don't know how to get 200 people into their Facebook group every single week organically on the dot. You know exactly what to do. And so it's more important that you have a system and you track the number. I used to hate tracking numbers and I used to not do it. But since I've been tracking my numbers and I understand, okay, I put in this amount of work on these specific areas, whether it's messaging people, whether it's doing CTAs in content or whatever it is, running masterclasses or challenges and sending people into it. I have a consistent way of doing those things. I have a schedule for it. I have it planned out. And I know if I do X amount of work, X amount of people will come in. So there is a variety of ways to make it happen. And no one way is necessarily better than the other, but it might be different for different businesses, how big your audience is, if you're doing paid traffic or not. Again, the key is that you have a consistent way of getting them in there. So that's the first thing. The second thing, as far as what should you post within the group, is you want to have a mix. So you have to understand the people join your Facebook group, they're in that second stage where they've made a small commitment, right? They said yes to following you. Now they say yes to being in your group. So the third step is you really want to deepen know, like, and trust very fast, very personal. You want to have a great intimacy. So the content that you should be posting in your group should be high level, like, know, and trust content. What are those? Basically, the like content is being content that really shows kind of what your company stands for, that you do things the right way, that people are going to like you, and maybe even some funny posts that people are going to laugh, they're going to enjoy your content. Think about people getting to know you. So really go in depth on your story in there. I often share deep things about my personal story. I talk about the different things I went through, the success that we've had in the group, because people, again, want to know you. And then they want to trust you. We post a lot of client testimonials in our group. and we get a lot of our clients to post their own wins in that group themselves, because people want to know that you actually got the real shit. You want to know that. And so we post that content in there. Now, that's not all we do. We make sure that we are having a conversation with them in Messenger while they're seeing this content. Because while they're seeing this content that's getting them to know, like, and trust us, we are then going intimate with them and actually having conversations with them. That combination leads to people just becoming raving fans, honestly, of your business.
Awesome. That's awesome. Fuck yeah. Cool. So the next step obviously is you've got all this free content going out and all this free value going out, and you're building this audience and a bunch of followers that are loving who you are. What's the next step with monetizing it? Like, if there was someone coming in, they're brand new coach and they're like, oh yeah, I've got a free group, I'm giving all this free content. How do I start making a living? How do I pay my bills?
Exactly. And then it comes back to a system, which a system is, okay, these people, they have an audience, they're growing their audience, they're warming leads up, they're giving a lot of free value. The next system is simply offering a call to get on, like a sales call. It's the most simplistic thing in the world. Lots of people come to me and they'll say, hey, my business isn't doing well. And I ask them, how many calls do you have per month? 2 or 3. And then I'll ask them, how many times are you offering someone to get on a call with you? And they're like, 2 or 3. And it's like, okay, how many people are like seeing out your free value? Well, I had like 40 people in my challenge last week. Did you like follow up with any of them and ask them to get on a call with you and see if we can go to that next level together? It's the most, so we call them KPIs, key performance indicators. One of the ones that I get all my clients to track is how many calls do they offer per week to hot leads. We don't do it to cold leads. How many calls did we offer every single week to hot leads? People who've been connected to a value piece. We call them value pieces in CCI. How many people have been connected to a value piece and you had a conversation that you offered to get on a call with them? And basically across the board, the more people you offer, the more clients they get every single week. It's down to like, it's a science. It's a science. And so it's literally going really intimate with them after they've been getting free value and gathering their goals and their struggles. Basically, that's it. Figuring out their goals and their struggles after they've gotten free value, offering to get on a call with them. At that point is selling them, whether it's a program, your product, whatever it is, that's going to solve their problem. So that's I will never have an answer that's really complex, because complexity is it's the destruction of business. Simplicity is what's going to be success for you.
Love it. And that's the motto I run by every single day is, how can I simplify something that's complex to make it more simple so a child can understand it, right? Because at the end of the day, I love my inner child. I love getting it out every single day. So it's, if I can make it simple so I can understand it, and anyone can understand at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. I'll give just a quick case study of this, because I just want so I'm working with one of my clients right now. Her name is Jessie. She's like a decent following on Instagram, like something like 10,000. And basically she was doing good. She was making $8,000 per month just off of posting and people applying for her program. So she came to me and I'm like, we can get to 20K a month, like in your first month. And she's like how? Like, I just can't post more content and get more people to apply. I said, no. Like, how many people are enjoying your free content? Like right now. And she's like, well, a couple hundred. I'm like, how many times have you had conversations with them? Well, like, not really. And so boom, in the first month, she went from 8K to 21K, because we simply started to be intentional about that process. And a lot of people, we call it post and hope, right? They post a lot of content everywhere. They're spreading it everywhere. And then just someone clicks like the link in my bio, link in comments. And don't get me wrong, I sometimes do like a link in bio, link in comments, but it's becoming less effective. It's people want to be more treated by real people online. They don't want to be just going through this link, this automation, even though that automation is great. The human experience is more important.
Yeah. It's like, we'll wrap it up soon, but so if you're saying like go to the sales, get on a call, what if someone is thinking to themselves, oh, I hate to sell, I hate getting on the phone, what sort of answer have you got for them?
Yeah, so it's always a couple things when people hate sales. And I find this, and one of my passions actually is, and it's a value of my company actually, is heart-centered but business savvy. Because the reason we say it that way is because a lot of heart-centered coaches, they don't like to sell. because they've had a bad experience themselves, or they truly aren't confident in what they're selling or who they're selling, which is themselves. That was me back in the day. And so the reason that we always talk about heart-centered and business savvy is because people either lean one way. They're too people-pleasing and they don't really sell, or their prices are super cheap. Then we have the people who are just business savvy and don't have a heart at all, who are just like in it for the money. We try to bring that together and understand that sales, and we use a lot of catchphrases, but like we talk about how sales is truly service. You truly get on the phone to figure out if you are like an amazing fit to work together. And if you're not, don't sell them. Don't try to sell them. Don't try to sell them just to make some money and maybe get them an okay result. Only sell to your real ideal clients. So that's the first thing. Understand that sales is service. And the second thing is a lot of coaches will teach like really like brutish, aggressive sales strategies. I'm not into that. I'm a very value-based approach person. And so we do a sales process in the way that you're not going to push people. You're going to get them really clear on where they want to go and get them to a place where they want to pay you, where they're going to pull up their credit card without you having to be like, go get your credit card. This is the best thing for you. You need to make this happen. Like, I'm not going to get off on this call until you do sign up. Like, no, we don't do any of that crazy old outdated car sales. We are very value-based because I think the new age of the internet is going to see people who don't want that and they get turned off immediately. I mean, literally, I had a guy sign up for a program this last week. He said, I was actually going to sign up for someone else, but on the sales call, they pushed me so crazy hard, I just was turned off. So I just jumped off. And so I think more and more of that. And so that's why I think the heart-centered coaches are going to win at the end of the day. However, they do need to become business savvy. So we like that synergy.
Yeah, most definitely. Like it's that whole thing. Like I've got my, I do a first aid and injuries for a couple of sporting teams here. And it's like that whole thing. You see someone that's hurting or injured on the ground. If you know you've got the skills to be able to solve their problem, like you're doing yourself an injustice in the whole world, an injustice if you just walk on by and miss it, right? And that's the same with sales. You know someone's got a massive problem that you've got a solution to. You're doing them an injustice if you just keep walking and don't help or offer a solution to help with their problem, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's truly it. And that's why I push my heart-centered coaches, because I'm like, if you truly want to create impact above everything else, this is the only way to do it. This is actually the best way to do it, is to charge a good amount so they're committed. And then to actually, like, if you feel like they're an amazing fit and that they, like, if they're the right person, totally go ahead and really try to get them into your program.
Yeah, definitely.
And the beauty of it, I love it actually when sometimes my clients will be like, hey, I was on a sales call. They didn't feel like a good fit. And I said no, and I feel so good about it. So that's when I know that they've truly learned the lessons, when they can also say no.
Yeah, most definitely. And I always say to people that it's, the only time that you will feel awkward going into a sale or a sales call is if it's all about you. If you're going in there needing the money and you're desperate for money and you're always focused on what you're feeling, what you're getting out of it and what you're doing, you're less focused on them and their problems. Right? But if you go in there thinking about how can I help them, how can I serve, how can I add value to them and really help them get from here to here, then like you literally get taken out of the picture, don't you?
Totally. And it's so twisted when we get on the sales calls and we're worried about ourselves. Like we're scared of our rejection when the other person is probably more scared than you are. And they're needing more help than ever. Like it's really just taking your eyes off yourself. Like you said, I think you said it perfectly.
Yeah, most definitely. I literally saw someone just recently manipulate the crap out of someone saying, hey, if you want to grow your business, blah, 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 stand up. And if you were to do it for free, let's stand up. As soon as they stood up, they're like, cool, don't sit down. If you really need this, then you need to go to the back and start paying blah, blah, blah right now. But if you do sit down, you're basically saying to yourself, you're going to fail, you're going to quit, on yourself. And I was like, I ended up walking out because of how awkward I felt with it. It's so bad. But at the end of the day, if you're there to serve and actually provide a solution to someone's problem, then it's not about you ever. It's always about somebody else. And you start to feel really good when you can help someone solve a problem, right?
Exactly. And that's where that story It just shows like the world truly, because right now, I mean, obviously the people who are the best marketers do have the biggest businesses. My goal is always to equip the best people, the most heart-centered people, because that's like those, like the clients out there, they're looking for those kind of coaches, and those kind of coaches need to be the best equipped.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, to wrap this up, if there was 3 things that you could help someone that's either brand new or wants to accelerate their business right now, what advice could you give them right now, or how-tos to be able to accelerate? Quick.
Yes, yeah, that's a good question. So the first thing is to actually get out of your own way and provide more free value than you're comfortable with. Because at the end of the day, like if you like, there's so many people giving out free value. There's so much free information out there. The only way to attract your clients and to stand out is to not only offer more free value than anyone else, but more intimate and personalized value than anyone else. So get really, really good at that. The second thing is to track your numbers. Actually know, okay, I want X kind of business. Well, that means I need to have X amount of sales calls, which means that I need to offer this many calls. Know your numbers, because if you don't know your numbers, you're just playing a guessing game. And you might have one good week, but then you might have 2 bad weeks, and you might not know why you have the two bad weeks and the 1 good week. You won't know out. So track your numbers, even if it's very rudimentary in an Excel spreadsheet. Track them. So that's the second thing. And the third thing I would say, I mean, honestly, more than anything is to work on the mindset, because as much as it's like a bit of like a word we just throw around there, it literally will be, I mean, we always talk about how every new level has its own devil. You'll always be working on your mindset. So you might as well start right now. So those would be my 3.
Awesome. They're everyday things too, right? So if someone really loved your accent and they really love what you're what you've spoken about today, and they want to get in touch with you, how would they go about with connecting with you?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, Facebook is probably where I hang out most, is just Reuben Dreeker. And we have a great Facebook group. It's called Aspiring Online Coaches. We have like, I think 40 some free workshops in there on different aspects of a coaching business. So people love those. They make money off of it. And that's our goal with all of it.
Awesome. Well, fantastic. You heard there. If you want to get in touch with him, jump into that group or reach out with him. But thank you very much for everything you've done today, Reuben. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. But let's leave it at that. Let's wrap it up. Thanks very much, guys. If you love this, share it, like it, throw us out some questions if need be. Let us know what your thoughts are, and we'll go from there.
Awesome.
Stay in touch, guys. See you, Reuben.
Thank you.